Most valuable and wanted Benjamin Franklin rare prints. The 1955 Liberty Series stamp. Depicted in the center. One of the founding fathers of the United States of America. Series issued to replace the 1938 presidential collection. Is paid homage to the guardians of freedom that have been part of American history. To the right of his face, you will be able to see his full name and surname. Lower left. The face value of the stamp. Half a cent of the American dollar. Franklin was very fond of philately. His passion for him began when he was 12 years old. He worked at a printing house in Philadelphia. Subsequently he learned the art of the typographer. The peculiarity of this stamp. It was in the new printing process. Until 1954. The paper was wet printed. They had a moisture content between 15 and 35%. This piece instead. It was dry printed. It contained a lower humidity of 5 and 10%. This process. It allowed the paper to be strengthened. Which appeared wider. And the designs were more pronounced and defined. Compared to wet molded ones. Postage stamp issued in May 1958. It has an 11 by 10.5 serration. Orange-red color. Today it's worth $19. The 1960 American Creed stamp. Reports one of the sayings for which Franklin became famous. Taken from his pamphlet. Poor Richard's Almanac. It was an annual almanac published by Benjamin. Where weather forecasts were reported. Practical advice for the home. Riddles. And other curiosities. The brochure sold very well. We are talking about around 10,000 copies a year. And often contained the phrase. Fear to do ill. And you need fear nothing else. Up. The written. The United States. To the left. The nominal value of the piece. 4 cents of the American dollar. Postage stamp issued on March 31, 1960. It had a circulation of 124,560,000 copies. It has an 11 serration. Olive brown color. Today it's worth $20. The 39-cent series from 2006 was issued on the occasion of the 300th anniversary of the birth of Benjamin Franklin. Born in Boston in 1706. He became a key figure in the American Revolution. Franklin was the only person to sign all 4 key documents in the history of the United States of America. The Declaration of Independence. The Treaty of Alliance with France. The Treaty of Paris with Great Britain. And the United States Constitution. And in these 4 pieces, you will be able to see it depicted. With papers and sheets honoring his activity. To have been a statesman for the country. To the scientist. Inventor of many projects. To have been a printer. And a postmaster. On every piece. The nominal value of the piece is reported. 39 cents of the US dollar. Followed by the writing. USA. Series issued on April 7, 2006. It had a circulation of 40 million pieces printed with the photo engraving method. Where the images on the stamp are created with intaglio plates. The sections to be printed are removed from the plate. And the ink remains in the carvings. With an 11 serration. Today it's worth $34. The 15-cent stamp of 1912. It was issued to avoid confusion among postal workers. They decided to depict George Washington. On all series of denominations with a tariff lower than 7 cents. While the sizes are 8 cents and above. They feature a depiction of Benjamin Franklin. Up. The writing is shown. US postage. Down. The nominal value of the piece. 15 cents of the US dollar. When the Post Office Department issued this series, there were not enough different color inks for each tariff. So the same color was used. With different shades. Postage stamp issued in February 1912. A new border design was created. Simple and linear. Printed in millions of copies. It has a 12 serration. And today it is worth $140. The 9-cent stamp of 1916. Depicts the face of Benjamin Franklin. He served as the first Postmaster General of the United States of America. From 1775 to 1776. This piece is part of a series printed on non-watermarked paper. To save on production costs. Due to a war economy caused by the conflict of the First World War. Above the face, the writing is shown. US postage. Down. The nominal value of the piece. 9 cents of the American dollar. Another peculiarity of this stamp. It lies in the drilling. It is one of the last pieces that have a 10 serration. In fact, between 1915 and 1916, the new 11-gauge drilling was introduced. Piece released on November 16, 1916. Was issued in millions of copies. It has a 10 serration. And today it is worth $190. The 1917 $1 stamp. It is part of the first series issued with a new caliber of serration. Indeed. Up to a year earlier, all stamps were punched with a 10 gauge. This is to save money on production costs. Subsequently, the 11-gauge serrated flat plate series began. This is because after some tests and attempts, the 12-gauge was found to be too fragile and easily damaged. The 10-gauge. It was too difficult to separate without damaging the stamp. The size of the 11-gauge became a satisfactory solution. Above the bust, the writing US postage appears. Under the nominal value of the piece. $1. Postage stamp issued in May 1917. With 11 serration. Today it is worth up to $225. The 12-cent stamp of 1914. It was issued during the period of the First World War. Depicting the bust of Benjamin Franklin. It was part of the series issued to avoid confusing post office employees. All pieces up to 7 cents of the US dollar. They depicted George Washington. Anything above the 8-cent rate. It depicted Franklin. Above the bust, the writing is shown. US postage. Down. The nominal value of the piece. 12 cents of the US dollar. Released April 1914. It had a circulation of millions of copies. With a 12 serration. Today it is worth $289.